We left our home in Grapevine, Texas on July 25, 2009 and stayed overnight at a hotel in Seattle. Our ship was leaving the next day at 4 p.m., so we planned ahead to give ourselves some extra time if anything like a flight delay or cancellation happened. We boarded the ship with ease and had time to spare. What you're seeing now is the actual view from our cabin leaving the Seattle harbor. Although we had been on a cruise once before, Alaska was a complete unknown to us. Some of the ocean-going vessels to Alaska port in different locations, but the Holland America lines we were on scheduled these ports and locations as shown here. Our first destination was Glacier Bay. It was the furthest distance heading north and the longest single travel time to get there, about 42 hours from Seattle. And because we were so naturally psyched up about the cruise and there were so many things to do aboard ship, the time actually passed quickly. We were fortunate to book this great veranda cabin and not necessarily pay an arm and a leg to do so. And the views were spectacular. To actually see where our cabin was located on the ship, this scene is of my wife waving from our cabin while I was filming on the pier. On July 28th at 10 a.m., we arrived at our first destination. When you see Glacier Bay for the first time, you know you're not in Grapevine, Texas anymore. The ship slows to a crawl and glides through these natural wonders. People on ship were mostly on the observation deck getting an account of the scenery from what are called interpretive rangers. Although we thought that was a good opportunity to learn, we were so in awe with the view we just stayed on the veranda and took it all in, along with as many pictures as we could. We thought any information we missed from these rangers, and especially in light of the limited time they were on board, we could make it up later on the internet. In fact, the more research you do about glaciers on the web before your trip, the more likely you will appreciate what you're seeing for the very first time. Our cruise ship did not actually drop anchor in this bay. The ship appeared to be moving very slowly. Bring along a good telephoto lens or binoculars to get closer views. Now, some vacationers come to this area and get on a smaller vessel to get close enough to experience the thunderous calving of these huge sections of ice, none of which I was lucky enough to capture on video. But I was able to capture some whales on the way. This whale scene here is certainly not ready for National Geographic, but you do appreciate those dedicated filmmakers and photographers who spend days, weeks, and sometimes years getting great wildlife shots. But don't be discouraged. You may find yourself in the right place at a perfect time and come home with some extraordinary pictures or video that you'll treasure. We left Glacier Bay at 7 p.m. and were about to sail overnight to Juneau and arrive in port at 7 in the morning. So that meant we had some free time to find something to do. Let me show you just a few things on ship you can do to pass the time. You could take strolls on the various ship decks, go for a swim, do some shopping, exercise, have a casual meal, or do some formal dining. You may want to go to an art auction, or maybe jumpstart your career on the American Idol show by visiting the karaoke bar. You may want to test your luck at gambling, see some stage shows, or even try some dancing. Dancing like this, or maybe this is more of your idea of dancing. It was almost storybook-like the next morning to open the veranda curtains and view the town of Juneau with this eagle prominently perched on top of one of the town buildings. This was a rare sight for us and was such a good filming opportunity that I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get off the ship, anxiously waiting for this eagle to take flight. But our curiosity about our new destination got the best of us, and we left the ship to see Juneau, this capital city of Alaska. Juneau was easy to access. The people were hometown friendly, there was a good mix of shops and restaurants, and afterwards we felt we got a good sense of the city's history and its culture. Now all this sightseeing was done in the morning, but in the afternoon we had booked a ship-sponsored excursion, which you can choose from a booklet like this, and it shows a large selection of things that are available to do in these ports. Things like helicopter and plane rides to glaciers, whale sightseeing, canoeing, kayaking, dog sledding, hiking, and much, much more. Depending on the event, the cruise line provides the transportation to and from the locations. We chose a combination package of a salmon bake and panning for gold. The salmon bake was better than anything we hoped for. The bus ride was short and comfortable, the food was unmistakably good, and the natural surroundings were exceptionally beautiful. Unfortunately, I did not find any gold to speak of, but the location of the river and the surrounding woods were magnificent and really made up for my inability to strike it rich. By the time we arrived in Sitka at 8 a.m. the next day, we decided to be more adventurous and explore the town on our own. We made arrangements to book a local driver that came highly recommended to take us on a tour of Sitka, which incidentally is only about 18 road miles from one end to the other. The driver was very knowledgeable and had a lot of insight into the various things to do and to see. We spent about 4 hours in town doing some more sightseeing of museums, small ship docks, seeing wildlife, and taking in the stunning views. In the afternoon, we took a short walk to a ranger-hosted rainforest. This forest was amazing and really the highlight of our visit to Sitka. Now, I made this video to be helpful to people considering going to Alaska. And if I were watching this video for the first time, I'd be wondering at this point, how much did this cruise cost? Well, we paid about $5,500 for the cruise. This included our 2 round-trip flights, a one-night stay at a hotel, and of course, all meals and entertainment aboard ship. The excursions we took were in addition to the cruise cost, and range from $59 up to $500 per person. For example, our combination salmon bake and gold prospecting was $150 for my wife and me, and the British Columbia Bouchard Gardens excursions, which you're about to see next, was $140 also for 2. Now, the Bouchard Gardens, and you know, it's possible to explain this place with just one word: breathtaking.